Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Off the Mic. You already know what today is. So let's just get right to it. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. Hope you all are well and safe. As you can see, I'm currently in an undisclosed location because that's my motherfucking business. But shout out to my brother Jeremy who allowed me to um, uh, set up shop here for the show tonight. Because today means so much to all of us as people of the African diaspora. I think it's very, very important that we really understand what today is. Um, and although Joe Biden, did a solid, I guess, by making Juneteenth a national holiday, Black people are still uh, dealing with systemic racism, police brutality, and all of these other things that also need to be addressed. So while I'm while it's cool that it's now recognized as a national holiday, it still doesn't excuse the fact that Black people are still the most like I feel away. Okay, okay, fuck it. I said it. I feel away. I feel away. I feel like everybody else kind of gets to like, it, forget it, forget it. Happy Juneteenth, but to make sure that you really understand what today means, I would like to show a video from the good folks at the Root that explains what Juneteenth is. So why don't we just get into that? Also, before we get into that, we got Sean Battle in the background. Peace to Sean Battle. Happy Endings Are Earned is now available, I believe, at EvoluCulture.com. Let's get into the video. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. We're gonna come back to the video. We had a little technical difficulty, that happens with when you're doing shit. But I'm kind of really excited because I really want to jump into this anyway. Uh, CEO, president, founder of EvoluCulture, poet, renegade, brother, fighter, one of like the illest people that I know. Sorry guys. Sorry, these are my new glasses and I can see it now, so I got a little soup. Sorry, but that reflection shit is really annoying. Thank y'all. Um, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to my very, very humble situation one of my very, very favorite poets. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the motherfucking interview. Yeah! Off the mic, fam. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Battle. Brother Sean, how you doing?
Good? What's good? I'm doing well, man. Man, yo, my apologies for the technical. That was on me. That was on me with the technical difficulty.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. But what you should do is stand up so we can see your shirt.
Oh, shoot. Hold up. Oh, God. I had to sit down for a minute because I freaking was moving around all daggone day. There we go.
Shirt now available at EvoluCulture.com. Just saying. Okay, you can sit down now.
Unlearn, relearn, repeat.
All of that. All of that.
Lord have mercy.
Brother. I don't know where to begin because it's so many things that I want to ask because, pardon me, being a part of the Evolu team and working with you and things of that nature is different than me being a fan of your work. And having read the manuscript for Happy Endings Are Earned and having wait, hold on. Because I did some traveling today, y'all, because I had some stuff to do. And I decided that I was going to bring this with me on my travels to read.
Book number 2.
Book number 2. Also available at EvoluCulture.com. Just saying.
Thank you.
The thing about Happy Endings Are Earned that I love so much is that I feel like, first of all, we don't really get to experience a more intimate side of you. And I think a lot of the pieces in like it has that. But one thing that I can say about Happy Endings versus this one is that I feel like it just feels different. It feels different. What mind state, what place were you in mentally when you said, okay, these are the poems that are going to be a part of the book? I said what the fuck I said, and I'm not going to police myself. These are my feelings. Like, how was the process of picking the poems and that thing?
Well, for me, it was it really depends on where my feeling was at that point in time when I was writing everything. Like, it was, man, it really depended on what I was going through. Like, the one thing that kept coming back to me was be as real as possible. Every time I, get a collection together, because a lot of the stuff is a mixture of work that I've written recently, and it's work that go as far back as when I just graduated college and going into grad school. Sometimes it's stuff that comes back later on, and I end up realizing. So it really, for me, it was just, you know, what made sense for what the collection was revealing itself for me. Excuse me, was revealing itself to be. And with that in mind, I'm just like, you know, what will help, what will assist the collection, and what is it trying to say?
What? Okay, I'm kind of happy that you said that, because that kind of leads to like a really nice segue. What is it that you want people to take away from Happy Endings? Because I took away something different. I have my own takeaway from it,
right?
But which I will tell you. But what do you want the people to take away from that whole experience? Because it's an experience to me.
For me, it was like, what I wanted to take away is that you have to own your own. You have to own your own happiness if you want anything in life. Like, you have to own up to your faults. You have to own up to what your purpose is. And stay and be honest with where you are in the moment. There are a lot of things within the last few years alone that I had to come to grips with about where I was and where I wanted to be. And I had to be honest about that. So for me, it was like, you have to really do the work and looking at the ugliness of it. And what's crazy is, when I looked at the collection and I was reading back to it, like, there were some feelings that I almost forgotten about. And then once I read it again, like in full, it's like, oh shit. Am I sure I want this in here? Like, am I gonna get in trouble? Or and the truth is, I had to go there. I had to release some things. And that's what it boils down to with almost every book. I had to release some things. You know, The Forest of Bricks, the first one, was about, you know, it doesn't matter what you or how you were raised or where you were born. No one is exempt from strife. It's it's how you respond to it that determines who you are. Right. Fast, you know, you just showed, asked a follow-up question. What happens when everything you learned, all the lessons you take in, have either been proven outdated or even outright lies? And so, you know, Happy Endings Are Earned is like the trilogy book in that sense. You're showing exactly. Hold up, let me just check something real quick. Okay. So yeah, with Happy Endings Are Earned, it's the trilogy book. You're left with, you know, being stripped bare. You're left with having to start over and being real with yourself and what your desires are. And so what does that mean for you in this search for pleasure and purpose, and trying to find a balance in that, and being real with yourself, having to remain as naked as possible, even at the ugliness side of you. Now, there are times where I'm not the hero. There are times where I was not the victim. And sometimes I was the one offending. Sometimes I was the one that really was taking advantage, even if I didn't look like it, or I didn't realize it. And I had to be real with that with myself. And even looking back at the book, I felt like this was like step one of that process. There's still more that I have to do in order to really gain some type of happiness or contentment. So that's what it comes down to for me.
You fucked around and said exactly what I was going to say. My takeaway from Happy Endings Are Earned is pleasure and purpose. First of all, I'm not used to that from you. So reading some of these pieces, I was like, sure. Yes. All of this, yes. Like it was sensual, but it was romantic. It was direct, but you eat Wedding Night is my shit. Wedding Night is one of my favorites. And first of all, going into it, I was like, okay, this might be something about like oral sex or something, or like, you know, squirting or something. And then I read it and I was like, whoa, I was wrong. So from Wedding Night going forward, cause what I did was I looked at the list of the poems and I was like, oh, I love these titles. So I kind of started to make up in my mind what I thought they would be about, and I was always wrong. And one thing that I can say, I think, oh damn it, phone. I think this is like not your magnum opus, but I think this is the most vulnerable and transparent that I think you've been. And you said something about like how it was like, oh, like, should I say that and rah rah rah. I go through that all the time. And having read the book, it was like, how dare he even think about policing himself? How dare he? We need this. And it's sensual, but it's not disgustingly explicit. I felt stories. I felt like each piece is its own giant, which is what I feel it should be when you put out a poetry book. So, of course, you got that check. But one thing that I really, really have to praise you for, and not just for happy endings are earned, but just in period, just as a poet, is that same thing that I was saying about like Treasure. Like, you two have this sort of approach to the way that you write and the way that you do things that is just so like, listen, you don't like it, I don't care. It's the truth, and you need to hear it. And it's hard to really like honestly like do that and to stand in it flat-footed 10 toes down and stand in front of that mic and say all of these things that you know nobody wants to fucking hear, but you have to do it. And that's one thing that like I appreciate about you, and that I don't get from other poets. Like, I'm not gonna say names. I'm not gonna do that because I was about to. I'm not gonna do that. No shade. God, no. Peace to all the poets. It's no shade. It's nobody in the chat. I was just about to say some shit that I shouldn't say, so I stopped myself. Don, you're welcome.
I'm gonna say this. You're not the only one that has said that about my style, and part of it is because, and part of it is I really I had no choice, basically. When I started writing back in 2006, and I found myself in 2007, I found myself in a circle with the likes of Omar Holman, with Poetic Assassin, with Ian K. Don and the Justice League, with all these different writers down at Verbal Mayhem. Shout out to Verbal Mayhem down at Rutgers, New Brunswick. When I'm down there and I'm swimming with sharks, basically. I had to really make some decisions about what I wanted to be as a writer and find that out for myself. So for me, it's just that balance of really being honest with myself. As much as I would want to write that I'm that nigga, I'm the shit type piece, that's not me. I'm still coming with who I am as a person, and being honest with myself. And a lot of that, I will say, is beating myself up at times, but It's a vulnerability that if I portray it, it does no one any good. Facts. So I've had to really come in and really be and just really say the thing as creatively as possible. Yeah. And know when to, pop off and know when to leave people alone. Right. My development as a writer coincided with my development as a person. Yeah. And I had to really learn some hard truths over time, lost friendships over time, gained friendships over time. Yeah. It's that very thing. And then, that's always going through my head. And then here comes Corona. Here comes the lockdown. Mm-hmm. All this at once. And my head is just spinning. Yeah. And that's without getting into other things that I haven't spoken to anybody about. So for me, it was like I had to dive headfirst into, into these poems, which kind of happened by accident. And in part because of Clubhouse, to be truthful. Yeah. Once I found Poetry Spaces on the Clubhouse audio app, I was able to actually write some of the more erotic work, to be honest.
That's where it came from. Shout out to Clubhouse.
So I was able to discover that part of myself, and have that safe space. Mm-hmm. And then over time, I had to use writing to process it. I had to keep going, basically. Yeah. So it's really been reminding myself, you're where you need to be. Yeah. There are times where I've really been down on myself, where I really beat myself up as a writer and as a business owner, and really had to find that, do I belong here? I had to really had to prove some things to myself, right? And some of those things I'm still healing from. But this is just another step for that. And really it came down to just doing the basics. To the point where the cover of the book, normally I get somebody else to do that for me. The first two, I got a graphic designer. I got cover art done. This one, I did myself. One, it was cheaper. Facts. Two, the more I kept envisioning the book, the more I'm like, you got to keep things simple. Yeah. The colors, I wanted to be at first all black or gray. And then when I kept thinking about a cover art, the one picture that came back to me, I don't know if you can get a photo of the cover on the screen, but people will notice if you look at the cover, there is a interior in the background, right? Mm-hmm. Hold on real quick. There we go. So,
and by the way, y'all, this is the final version. The first version that we got to see as family was a lot darker than this, but when it was lightened, it made it clipped. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it looked like once everything was printed out, I was like, oh, that's way too dark. I gotta lighten this up a bit so that the cover art can really be shown. What's funny is the cover art is actually an interior of the Hayden Company building. It's actually an interior of the Hayden Company building in downtown Newark.
Really?
Here's what happened. So,
that's fire.
First of all, I lived in Newark since 2011. Word. That means I've been up here when the Coffee Cave was still around, when the Art Kitchen first opened, when Burger Walla first opened, when Cut Creators was still on Halsey Street. All the places I named were on Halsey Street alone.
Peace to Cut Creators, and rest in peace to C, who was my barber there, who was shot and killed on his way going to work on Springfield Avenue.
Oh my God.
I love you. Sorry.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Rest in peace to Bria Blackberry Molasses Knight, who also worked there.
Yes.
So I was there when all that was still around.
Yeah.
And so to see things come and go was just absolutely insane. This picture actually I took back in 2014 when I just like in my earlier days of Instagram.
Yo.
Wow. And what happened was this when and those who remember those times, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In the summer of was it the summer of 2014? No, 2013. Summer of 2013. I went to People's Open Mic. Shout out to Mia X, shout out to Jay Reed. It was at the Coffee Cave at the time. And what happened was we always had ciphers after 9 p.m. when the venue would close.
Yeah.
So we would be outside across the street. There used to be a mural that was done on the Hain building. And people would go across the street to that mural and do the ciphers there. And I would always hang around before I went home. So I'm out there, right? And I forget who pointed this out or who did what, but I think I peeped the hole in like the building's interior. And so I looked in and I saw what you saw on the photo. And a light was already on. And a light bulb was already on, meaning they had just gotten the okay to start renovating everything.
Yeah.
So something in me, and this is at a time where I just took random ass photos, like I was some aspiring photographer or some shit. If you scroll down my now private Instagram, all the way to the beginning, you'll see those type of photos. And I took my camera out and I took the photo because I thought it was just so cool. As I'm getting ready to get the exterior of the book together, get the cover of the book together, I'm sitting here like, it kept coming back to me. That photo. I'm like, why this photo? Why? Why is this photo coming back? And the only thing I can think of as I pulled the photo and placed it onto the software to make the cover, the only thing I can think of is that the Hain building had one purpose when it was first created. And then it closed down, was closed down for years. Someone else came in. So it was stripped bare. It was stripped naked to its foundation. And someone else came around, and because of them, or because of circumstances, it was given new life. So now it had to start over. Now it had to be rebuilt. Now it had to become something anew, with new traditions, new stories, new purpose, new everything.
Yeah.
And partially that's what the book means to me. It's a step one. It's a rebuilding anew. So it was to signify that. Yeah. And I was like, that's it. Keep it simple. I wanted to be as straightforward as possible with this. I didn't want any bells and whistles. I couldn't afford any bells and whistles because pandemic.
Because of the pandemic, right.
Like, I'll be doing the last two book release parties, I'd have had a live band. I'd have had you on the lineup. I'd have had all this shit, right?
Word.
I've done that before. And I think also what happened was during those times, what would happen immediately was some type of effect on my things would get flipped upside down, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't too long after the book would be released that I would end up being pushed into uncharted waters to keep it as general as possible.
It's a good volume, I'm saying. Like, y'all look good. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And so for me, it was like I almost didn't want to do a book release, or I didn't know how to, because I didn't have that type of access, as EvoluCulture itself needed my attention, as things have been building for us from this very show, the channel itself, people like you being a part of the team, the apparel line, everything. That had to be my focus. I was going to actually push this back to next year and give me time.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, fuck that. Yeah. We need to start selling something on the store. So I ended up making a decision to release it now and just put it out into the world. And I chose Juneteenth because after what happened last year, it was going to be something where I knew Juneteenth was going to become something very different. It was going to be this. You know what I mean? For good, for better or for worse. And I just said, you know what? Y'all want to get reparations. Y'all want to do all this and, help and be for real about it.
Speak, okay. Sean. Speak.
Start with supporting Black businesses. I'm going to drop my shit in the book. I'm going to drop my book on this day. There are some poems that deal with social justice that I'm going to get to later tonight.
Yes.
Because that's definitely a part of it too, where I had to really figure out my own political identity and how to walk on this very earth. So,
which is another thread in the book too, guys. Like, don't think like you're gonna buy this book and it's sex poems. It's not even like that. It's a conglomerate. It's a feast. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
It's crazy how it even came out like that. I'm like, am I sure all this gonna joke together? But I had to go there. I was like, fuck it. Yeah. We just gonna do this. And just have a ball. And I had to do it. Like, this is how I create my books. I'm not doing a publisher. I'm not going a traditional route. I don't have the patience for it. Y'all don't pay enough to have me to have the patience for it. If I'm gonna do all that, I might as well make sure I own the masters to every fucking thing.
That part.
So that's where it just came from. And otherwise, I don't know if I'll be able to make a decision like I did with the cover. That's what it just comes. Right. That's what just comes down to.
So, peace to Radicule in the chat. Peace to everybody viewing. Pardon me. It's a couple things that I wanted to run by you before we hop into you getting busy.
Gotcha.
For those of you who are for those who are tuning in, where did you get started? How did you get started? Who inspired you to become a poet?
Okay. Time to tell the homework story.
Yeah.
2006. Pensacola High School. Shout out to Pensacola, New Jersey.
Peace.
I'm very shy. If I do speak, I tend to be that weird kid in the classroom outside of my small circle.
Yeah.
U.S. history class, white woman. We get a homework assignment. Write a poem inspired by World War I. Typical high school procrastination. I have a lunch period before that class. This is sophomore year, by the way.
Okay.
Typical high school procrastination.
This is young battle.
Oh, yeah. Typical high school procrastination. I wait until the lunch period before my class to actually do the poem. And by that, I mean, I ripped out somebody's notebook paper, composition notebook paper. So, it ain't ripped all the way correct.
Exactly.
Wrote down a rhyming verse because all poems need to rhyme, right?
Right.
And so I'm like, oh my God, I need something. And I kept going back to some type of quote I got that I still paraphrase to this day. The only way where a soldier said, or somebody's general, the only way you are leaving this battlefield, the only way you are leaving this conflict is on a stretcher. So I end up writing my very first poem, the one poem that kicked everything the fuck off, was a poem in the voice of a soldier in the trenches in World War I. I wrote it.
Wow, Sean. Oh, wow.
I wrote it, went to class. That's the writing part.
Yeah.
Because the other side. I go into the classroom. Now, mind you, again, I'm shy as hell.
Yeah.
I don't like sharing, don't like speaking up, but at the same time, I have an inclination that I have some type of gift. It's one of those weird, one of those weird spaces where when I look back, I'm like, I wish I nurtured that a lot sooner.
Facts.
I think certain things would have been a lot easier in my adult life.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
I go in there, and you got your jocks, you have your popular kids, you have your cool kids. We have a reading contest. Winner gets candy. I assure you, this is high school. People are going up there. They're trying to rap. That's what that is. They're trying to have that cadence.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have the fucking confidence. The paper is shaking in their hands. They're moving. Like they're doing mumble rap before it was mumble rap, and the volume is low as fuck. Like, it made no goddamn sense. And I'm like, okay. And something in me, I call it my artist sense, my curator sense.
Yeah.
Something was pissing me off about this. Like, I was annoyed. Like, I was nervous. It went from me being nervous to me being annoyed.
Yeah.
Because as nervous as I am, I also understand if you're going to have a certain cadence, if you're going to deliver in a certain way, you need to have certain confidence about yourself.
Yeah.
Or it just comes off wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't know shit either, but I knew that much.
Right.
So I go up there. So I go up there on some just turned the Super Saiyan in me on. Like literally the first time one powers up. Like I just saw Krillin get blown the fuck up and I'm pissed off at Frieza. That moment, okay? I deliver the piece. And right when I'm done, out of nowhere, an explosion of applause that drew me back. I was like, huh? What the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
We get to all the students. We do a raising of hands to vote. Who won? They get to my name. Everybody's hand goes up.
Wow. That was the start.
That was the beginning, Yeah. From then on, we get to senior year. I do the normal poems for crushes that already have boyfriends, and we had a cultural event where I shared as well because my old science teacher caught on that I had this gift. I do the talent show. I was the only male poet out of 4. Wow. The other 3 were black girls. If those who watched, what was it, episode 3 of the virtual evolution dope and mic, if you remember Shayna Danielle, she was one of those poets that I was with. Yeah.
Yo. Yeah. Peace to Shayna, by the way.
So, but needless to say, and I was also by vote, it's a talent contest.
Yeah.
I got my ass kicked. Every one of them judges voted me last. But my family saw me perform and they were nervous. Like they didn't understand. Like they were nervous about me being on stage.
Yeah.
And they too saw that switch. They did not expect that energy from me. And this is something to this day that people don't expect from me. Because my presentation when off stage, I'm a little timid, I'm a little shy, I'm a little quiet until you get to know me.
Right.
Then I'm on stage and it's this ball of energy that you're like, what the hell is going on here?
Same.
So people don't expect it. And then, from then on, I went to Rutgers University. Again, another talent show. Because I was in a pre-college program on campus.
Oh,
another talent
show.
Another talent show for that. Again, did another piece. Again, got a lot of fanfare and whatnot. Then I learned about Verbal Mayhem. Went to my first Verbal Mayhem. And for those who know their who's who of poetry in Jersey, it was a lot of names in that one night alone.
Yeah.
And the rest was history after that. It was like a series of ups and downs and learning from the best, both in and out the classroom, and choosing early on that I wanted to get a master's of fine arts in poetry. And that is what led me to end up being, partially, is what led me to end up in Newark, because if I can make it here, then
you can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what that, and it all started because of a poem about a soldier at World War I.
Where did EvoluCulture come from?
So
I have to ask. Like, I have to ask this question. Like, I have to.
No. Of course. I just gotta get my thoughts together because it's a whole narrative around. I'm gonna have to do a nonfiction book around at some point, a memoir at some point.
Give us the condensed version because I want you to perform.
I got you.
Catch these vibes. Thank you, Don. Sorry, go ahead.
I can't. No, so at EvoluCulture in 2014, I co-hosted People's Open Mic with Mia X until the summer. And then by the time we get to the end of the summer, I noticed something about Newark's poetry community at this point, or its open mic scene, I should say. So I came up here, it was verses from God Sent, done every week. Then it was People's Open Mic, done every week, or at the Coffee Cave.
Peace to God Sent.
Peace to God Sent. We had Center Stage Cuts back in the day, where People's Open Mic was moved over there, and they had their own showcases. Shout outs to Live and Direct. Shout outs to Starsky. Shout outs to the Poor Sessions with Uninvited at the T-Bar in Union. Shout outs to Friday Night Right / Slammetry with Starsky again at the Art Kitchen. All of these shows were going on at the same time. All of them ended up ending, and all of them I ended up on the last show as some type of feature. So we get to 2014. I end up co-hosting, and we missed at that time. I end up co-hosting People's with Mia X. That ended. By the time we get to the summer of 2014, the open mic scene became where there was no weekly spot anymore. That was free. The spots that were around, they were $10 to get in. The free spots were monthly. And by this point, I was used to having poetry open mics every single week.
Yeah.
So when I noticed that drop, something was itching at me. You got to start your own. And that was mainly because John Murray, owner of the Coffee Cave, was asking me, hey, if you know anybody who wants to run an open mic for free, weekly, they don't have to pay me anything. I just got to, sell food. I ended up becoming that person.
Dope.
And I decided to take that leap. And on October 9th, 2014, what is now known as Evolution Dope and Mic was born. First as a free event weekly. Then a
weekly? Wow.
Then a covered event weekly. Rarely did we go over $5. And the times I did, and the times we did, it showed a lot about ourselves from the audience. Then we switched to bi-weekly. Now it's been once a month since 2 years ago. We always answered to the need of the community one way or another. And originally, to help promote the show, I had a hashtag, EvolveNJ. But even then, there was a tagline that helped me, that informed me calling it Evolution. And that was from WWE superstar Triple H, who reformed a 2003 faction, Evolution, in 2014. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, in life, you either adapt or you perish.
Right.
That is evolution. That never left my head. That never left my head. And so I wanted the open mic to represent growth one way or another.
Yeah.
And when I kept coming back to that, and I said, fine, evolution. Fine, Evolve NJ will be the campaign. It was just a campaign to promote it.
Okay.
I made a move to make it a brand, an organization, because I wanted to do more shows. Because at the time, Evolution didn't have features. When I started the Ascended Artist series, that was a paid event with features. Shout out to Shaheed K. Woods, who was the very first Evolve NJ / EvoluCulture feature.
Peace.
That series ended when the Coffee Cave closed its doors. And after a while, I moved Evolution to the Burger Walla, now known as just the Walla on Halsey Street.
Wow.
Shout out to Kai Campbell. We were there before the floor was even painted black. That's how far this goes. And we were one of the very first few events that were frequent that were in that spot. I said Evolve NJ needed to be a brand. It needed to be an organization. The reason it took me so long to get the paperwork done, to sum it up, I was afraid.
Right.
I was afraid. Yeah. Circumstances, pandemic again, led us to, it was gray. The floor was gray. Don said something in the comments.
Yeah.
So, we done lost ism. Lord Jesus. So, just to continue the story, what ended up happening was we had to keep running shows. We kept running shows, and then we just started bringing features back. And it's just become part of our makeup since then. The reason...
It's a lag.
Ism, you good?
I don't know what just happened, but I'm sorry about that. But we're going to keep going in Jesus' name. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Ashe. Amen.
Ashe. Wait. So, Ashe. Yes. Sorry. Go ahead. And after this, we're going to get into your performance.
Gotcha. So we moved to Burger Walla. We brought features back. And then other changes got made based on the venue that we were in. Shout outs to Gallery 211. Shout outs to The Cage. Shout outs to Express Newark, and shout outs to the Cry Out Cave. So we changed the name from Evolve NJ to EvoluCulture. It was suggested so that we could have a wider audience, and to make it clear what we were doing, that was evolve the culture, change the social norms of, or at least create a space where we set the tone of what is and what is not allowed. Hence my creed: any racist, homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, misogynoir, rape culture perpetuating, predatory in the head ass, words or actions on stage or off will not be tolerated. You will be shown
the door.
Read the room. That's the vibe of the audience with the vibes you want to provide. That's where that comes from. Wanted to create that space where intention was set from the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's where all of that came from. And it led to us here. I'm shocked at myself. That
you shouldn't be, Sean. Like, you shouldn't be. You are one of the most electric poets that I know. And when I say electric, I mean in terms of, you know what? I'm going to let y'all see. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to present to some and introduce to others one of my favorite poets. Let's get into the motherfucking performance.
Call it like it is and keep it moving. Check it out. Call it like it is and keep it moving. Sing on what's around. Potholes too deep and hills too steep for unspoken truth. Shackled 2 feet. Call it like it is and keep it moving. Check it out. Dear white liberal. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Splattered yellow on strips of pavement is pandering in place of policy change. Just say you don't want to try something new by abolishing police in its current form and go. I am tired of colorful visuals clouding visions of fairness. Rename the team, rebrand the syrup, solicit Black writers for journals, white as the pages they print on. Don't act like you never heard. Social justice is good business now. A game to measure wokeness, see who gives better worded empty promises, to acknowledge troublesome times, then time how long before someone asks, "This you?" in the caption of a receipt to ghosts of bullshits past and present. I mean, at least there are those clear in their grim reaper hooded visions of future for us Black folk. Something to shoot and stomp to protect entitled resources. Nah, it's you so-called allies I'm eyeing. You who quake at the no peace and no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace, ancestors hexing your privileged foundation. Your ears bleed when ordered to empty pockets. Stand aside so others take office jobs. Be intentional in hiring beyond the pale and male without defaulting to roles like Chief of Diversity. Call it like it is and keep it moving. Check it out. Call it like it is and keep it moving. Single what's around, dear white liberal. If our demands to be seen as human beyond dollars and donated organs are a fucking inconvenience, if all you have for genocide that starts when questions from a Black mother are ignored by her white doctor are skin-toned band-aids. Boys, sit your $5 ass down before we make change with Black masks and Black hoodies out of gated communities. And no, we do not have the cultural capital to storm the Capitol like a conservative comrades, caping for a crybaby colonizer in chief who can't take a loss. Gates swung open for them like limousine doors. But fuck that. Anarchy is inevitable, so may it be for the birth of true equity, not for a wannabe emperor. Potholes too deep and hills too steep for unspoken truth, shackled to feet. Call it like it is and keep it moving. Check it out, dear white liberal. Someone's riot will always be another's revolution. Rewind, dear white liberal. Someone's rights will always be another's revolution, and your rhetoric about that or this, that or this, that or this not being a real protest will still be the same should more ground be stained by Black blood before our souls even hit the damn steps. The current ways got my people bopping in decay anyway. So what's the point of polite, of respectable, if all it leads to is sound bites like Black Lives Matter, splattered yellow on strips of pavement, scorched in place of policy change? Sincerely, shh, your hands up, shh, your mouth closed, shh, your ears open, shh, your wallets ready. Call it like it is and keep it moving. Check it out. Call it like it is and keep it moving. Single what's around. Potholes too deep and hills too steep for unspoken truth. Shackled to feet. Call it like it is and keep it moving. Check it out. That was the purpose side of things. Here comes the pleasure. This is called Wetting Night. Why are your lips a cloud matted purple? Your walk a thunderclap to signify the storm drip. I gaze at your mouth to archive where droplets fall from, so I learn how to hang on your every word. A kiss from you seems like chilled punch in the hottest July day, hitting the back of my throat till I come up for air, like the sweetness around my mouth. I didn't even get into white painted toes, thigh meat swallowed by sunlight, chest sitting as proper or messy as you want. It's not that I don't see you as a whole person. I just want to factor you into my diet. Meanwhile, there are nights you'd rather your words curve into cries as you sink into my tongue. Even self-love needs a break. Let someone else's touch curate the rainfall. And from there, literally, the next piece is about that very ritual. You hold back so much while the sun is on its shift. I've had those days too. When I do, you wipe my mental worries away by crowning me with your mouth. I've longed to pay you back. And here you are now, outsiders getting you tight. Let me loosen you up a bit. Kiss, choke, grip, stroke. Kiss, choke, grip, stroke. Kiss, choke, grip, stroke. Kiss, choke, grip, stroke. I growl over how much I get to devour you tonight. No leftovers, I tell myself. She's worked too hard at being a feast. And family taught me to finish all plates. So, lay like the entree you are. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Kiss, choke, grip, stroke. Kiss, choke, grip, stroke. Kiss, choke, grip, stroke. Kiss, choke, grip. Soak both of us to surrender. Your eyes searching for a tether in the ceiling. Within seconds, your rage bites me back, entranced by the scent of my own shift-born stress. Now that I fucked the bullshit out of you, you rise to reclaim time after wading waters of workplace incompetence. My body a hammer clutched by hand and lips long deemed worthy. Goddess of thunder reborn, shatter me through source walls, so all intelligence behind them baptizes our earth. After a while, you have to really think about where y'all want to go next, how you need to slow things down, and make sure that every single moment, much like anything in life, yeah, you want to make sure you're satisfied, but are they? Shout out to Newark. whose song inspired this poem, both of which share the same title. Aphrodisiac, spelled Afrodisiac. Breath and melody in tune with heart's beat. Worries tethered to clothing lay powerless around our bed. My hands in search for knots, listen for the switch up in your rhythm as confirmation. I take my time, restrain the wolf in me till every hip and thigh are tenderized. I get to your feet, recall kicks and swerves made for survival, yet they remain inviting in appearance. But I know better. So before my tongue helps bring your heel back to life, I ask what will forever be repeated for any morsel of your time. May I add to your self-love. Be the extra hands that help peel red lace off your dark chocolate. Be lips valid enough for you to melt against. I promise this is not only for my consumption. I want to know if I can complement the bliss you manifest for yourself. Once, you told me how men denounced the goddess in you, regulated your magic towards monetary gain for their pockets only. I made a promise since then. Be gentle. Do not ascend you until you want to be ascended. Want nothing but your trust in me seeing your rivers flow without fear of contamination. Hold you while the storm in you subsides. Slide palms across your back till your body finishes crying joy. I value you beyond experience and artistry. Should you sing tonight, a note higher for every stroke, may it be of healing. My mouth, a leech sucking out the sickness gathered from having to human for decades on. I may never know fully of what you went through, but will love your inner hell into eviction and replace it with heaven's charm. Now, that's all well and good for everyone else. What about yourself? What about your own needs? What if they're not met? What if you focus so much on other fucking people? You have nothing but yourself, but discontentment, but anger, but frustration that you can't find a way to balance things out. And you're trying to do this and you're trying to do that. And you're trying to not have people who said bad things about you hold on to you. Hold on. I am already a time bomb, conscious enough to cut its own wires. Do not be what expedites a countdown. I am trying to halt from hitting alignments of zeros. Otherwise, the nuclear wind will be no one's fault but yours, especially this evil genius. I keep intentions veiled till time to strike at undeserving receivers of breath. This has been my silent creed for the hike up mountains whose crevices promote death. I keep steady when climbing up. Look out for those in front of me whose demons dare smile at me for validating their routes where they strip other friends and lovers bare of trust without permission. At least I let them think I okayed it till they slip off the mountain I chose for us. Their cries filling a crevice, I climb up and flip their karma into cultural refill. Give me a reason to switch up. And I will. Shout out to Don Krypton, who introduced me to Absol's song Evil Genius. That was a sonnet entitled Evil Genius. And before that, it was the short poem Triggered, which you'll hear as audio as part of the track Freedom with R.A.P. Phenomenal off his album Alumni. Thank you, R.A.P. I got two more and then I'm out your way. It's funny. When we started with YouTube, my equipment was not what it was. And it became apparent that I was the weak link in those streams, even for the inaugural Off the Mic. And I held on to that, and it fucked with me. It really fucked with me. No one said anything. They gave me nothing but love. But it was apparent that I was the weak link, and I hated feeling that. It really put me in a dark space that is familiar to me. And from that came this piece. Do not tell me to pray. I know the Lord is watching me, waiting for my cries to include his name. I am to speak sweetness into his pride, so he may turn me towards peace, fitting for a being of his stature. But I am not there yet. God feels too far away, and the demands to call upon him come off as dismissive to me. I cannot handle being turned away anymore. My tears, no matter the source, never seen as valid. My addiction to darkness, or at least the light at its most dim, never respected. I am an iris shredded by punches, sensitive to sunlight, glasses with transitional lenses reminding me of normalcy, shocked and left sore. The brighter the burn, the more urgent is accountability. Right now, I do not want to exist. I need to be told it's okay, or at least lied to. Leave. Leave. Or sit with me in the darkness for a while. Do not speak. I will pray when I'm ready. Even if I'm not, if I never am, please respect the solitude I've chosen to drown in. God will help me. God will get me eventually. Rip me out of chaotic comfort. Force me where he needs me to be. Whether I embrace or deny, till he grows tired of me. I cannot harp on. Too much thinking about my future. I want the now. My now is to not exist. Join me. Or save yourself. I will love you either way. Always. Now, that's mad extreme, and I understand that. But that was where my head was at any point in time. A lot of people had to love on me to get through all of that. To the point where I'm able to write this last piece. It's not necessarily you can say it's a light at the end of the tunnel. I see it more as just is. This piece is called, this is actually the last piece in the book. So, spoiler alert, this is how it ends. The first poem that opens up the book is called Pleasure. This is called Purpose. There's a shadow starving for space to be heard in. No jump backs from its presence, no scowls for existing. Just head nods, hugs, kisses, caresses, surrender. It longs for being in body and soul to be willingly swallowed whole, so it could reemerge brand new, stand on grounds of refreshment and clarity. My shadow prays to be chosen as giver of such rides, fiends for consent while remembering how famished it is for power. Power, the one craving so toxic, politicians prefer it over healthy countries. But it knows not all of its lifespan breeds worthiness of such feast. So it grows weary till tummy rumbles become tirades over matters that should be absent of my input. My shadow reflects this pain, schemes for ways to get it without my consent. No. No, actually, no. I knew what it was doing. Guilty of fumbled friendships, shelving secrets in drawers they don't belong, contradictions without consciousness. Then came the put downs, hard talks, tears I never want to cause again from giving disappointment. Lessons learned becomes dirt collected, holding seeds I've chosen to water so root, stem, leaves, branches, life can grow from trials long past. But the hunger remains. Only now I acknowledge it. Question how I crave submission when I haven't surrendered fully to purpose myself. My shadow forever exists so long as I do. Never guaranteed forgiveness, only a path forward, cravings and all, to be someone's vessel for happy endings. And no matter what, happy endings are earned. I'm showing battle, and poets do not tell, we show. Out. Thank you.
Now, by the way, I just want to thank you because you did the poem that I asked you to do, and then you did the accompanying poem for it. Whoa, didn't even know that those were like, buddies. So thank you for that. Wow.
Thank you. That's another thing. My sequencing based on reading through it, and it's like, what makes sense coming from one poem to the next? So, I talk about the wanting to do a ritual for your lover. Why not just talk about the ritual next,
Yeah. Another favorite one of mine, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Battle. Again, clap it up. Oh,
thank you, y'all.
Thank you, family in the room.
Thank you.
And you're welcome, Sean.
Before I forget, holy shit, that was the first set that I ever did with those poems in concession. So I'm fucking wiped.
Right. But please let everybody know where they can go get you, where they can get the book, where they can support you, all of that stuff.
So, okay, first of all, it's Juneteenth, and I'm hearing articles about, Venmoing a Black person $50. I ain't got no Venmo, but I do have Cash App. So Cash App, EVOLUCULTURE. If you about that reparations life, just Cash App me $50. That's number one. But in terms of the book itself, all my books are available at EvoluCulture.com. where you can also buy the Learn, Unlearn, Relearn, Repeat T-shirt.
Bam!
And we have masks, we have shorts that are out.
Shorts, we got leggings, hoodies, all of that.
All of that. So check out the website for all of that. I am the host still of Evolution Dope and Mike, our flagship show. There it is. They're the sneakers.
The shoes.
Don Krypton, our general manager, got the mask on, got the sneakers.
Come on, Don.
That's how you do it. That's how you fucking do it, damn it. So everything is on the website. I am the host of Evolution Dope and Mike. We talked about it before. That's the flagship show. Literally everything came from that. Since the pandemic, we've gone virtual with it. It was the first show we went live with here on this YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, subscribe to EvoluCulture on YouTube. The show runs on the second Saturday of each month, 7 p.m. Eastern. Is a virtual event purely until further notice. Shout outs to our feature, the singer Kaja Brielle, who I met on TikTok. Our theme for the night is courage. If you are interested in performing, EvoluCulture at gmail.com or inbox EvoluCulture on Instagram. If you're interested in performing, limited open mic list and breaking fucking news.
Oh, it's breaking news. Breaking news. Sean.
I talked before about having a not doing a release party. Because it's just Corona. Like I couldn't do it like I wanted to. And then over time, in the last few weeks, I ended up getting the equipment that I needed to run streams like this without any trouble.
So what you gonna do?
Last night I decided
that what?
Fuck it. We're doing this. So June 26th. Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Streamed live on the EvoluCulture YouTube channel. I will be doing a virtual book release concert for Happy Endings Are Earned.
Let's fucking go.
I will be reading more from the book, as well as taking questions from anyone in the public group chat. So it's a reading and a Q&A. If you are interested in being, I'm reaching out to some people as well as we speak about being an opener. I always have a showcase of some kind. I always have an opener. So if you know me very well, know that I'll be reaching out to you.
He jumped off that shit.
Just saying. If I ever called you friend, if I ever called you brother or sister, know that I'll be reaching out to you. That's what I'm gonna say.
Word. And you heard it here first on Off the Mic. It's an honor to be able to be the platform to get that information out there. So you heard the date. You already know what's up. Be there. Trust me. This book is really phenomenal. So be there.
I gotta say this. Ism, you've been our brand ambassador since late last year. You have been someone that has been a part of this team. You've been a constant supporter. I just want to say thank you.
No, thank you, brother. No, thank you. Are you kidding me? Thank you. You already know my story. You know my deal. From the brother. Sorry. Sorry. When you kind of brought, okay. Sorry, I have to give you your flowers now. So just don't be uncomfortable. Promise me, promise you won't be uncomfortable.
I got you.
Cool. When you asked me to do the Lincoln Park Festival last year, I was like, oh my God, I have to memorize poems, boom. And it was like, no, just do you. And I'm not used to being embraced in that way, in the way that the EvoluCulture family has embraced me. So I thank you for allowing me to be myself, to pop my shit. You gave me a platform to have a show. I can't thank you enough. I really cannot thank you enough. But not just for me, but for all of the other people that you gave a platform to get their art out, especially for us Black folk. You know how it is for us. Sean, thank you for not being misogynistic, for not being homophobic, for understanding that art is a spectrum. Everybody's an artist. And I went to it was karaoke night at the cave with Treasure. Peace to Treasure, by the way. And I believe you got on the mic. No, it was something else that I went there for, and you got on the mic and you gave that creed. And I was like, oh, I'm safe here. Okay. Thank you for giving people a safe space. To you, it may not be that big of a deal, but for people like me, thank you. This was why I decided to have you as the June feature, because first of all, you really don't interview that often. And for people in my audience, I want them to understand who you are, who I'm attached to, and what I'm going to be working with. So that if we have a show, they know they're safe. And I thank you for that. I really, really do. Thank you for being a renegade. Thank you for cutting your fucking self open and bleeding into your work, just so that we can have an escape from life. Thank you for doing wedding for me. That you don't know what that did for me to hear it live from your mouth. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for real.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Battle. Sean, where can they follow you at?
Instagram, Poems by SEAN Battle. I am SEAN Battle on Facebook, although that's kind of the friend. It's kind of limited. I kind of reached the friend limit on that. But Instagram, Poems by SEAN Battle. And honestly, all this Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and the website EvoluCulture. EvoluCulture Ventures. Catch these vibes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Sean, brother, I love you, man. Again, thank you for granting me this platform, but thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, everybody at Poems by Sean Battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
At Poems by Sean Battle at EvoluCulture. Be sure to keep up with us because shit is about to get real and you don't want to miss it.
Very quick.
for the merchandise, for his books, EvoluCulture.com. Brother Sean, you already know. It's real in the field, brother. You already know I love you, man.
Love you too, man.
All right, family. Let's take it home.
And loudofmercy.com.
Okay. Okay. Family, thank you for coming tonight. Fellas. Yeah, family, thank you for being here tonight. Happy Juneteenth to all of you. Shout out to my brother Jeremy, to my brother Julio, to my brother Shaq, aka Q Nouveau, for just being brothers. the one thing that I want you guys to take away from this whole thing is that the Black plight is not over.
Amen.
Thank you for Juneteenth, but it's not over. When they stop shooting us and killing us in the street, when they stop harassing us, when they stop policing us for just being Black, then maybe things will get better. President Biden, thank you for Juneteenth, but more work needs to be done. And you know that more work needs to be done. You know more work needs to be done, President Biden. So thank you. I appreciate it. I got the afternoon off from work. It was great. But even in that, black people are still being shot and killed. Black people are still the most fucking underappreciated, not respected people in this country who have helped build this shit. Thank you for recognizing the holiday, but we don't want people to get shit fucked up about what it really means. So, what I would like for everyone to do after you leave this show, do some research on Juneteenth.
Praise.
And really understand what it really means. Because it's not just, oh, it's a holiday now. No, fucking research it. Again, peace to our brother Sean Battle. Again, you can follow him.
Thank you, Sean Battle.
Thank you, brother. At Poems by Sean Battle. POEMSBYSEANBATTLE on Instagram. And to follow what's going on with EvoluCulture at EvoluCulture on all social media platforms. Again, peace to Don Krypton in the background who always holds me down. Peace to my EvoluCulture family. Peace to everybody in the chat. Hassan, Pharaoh, Radicule, everybody who said stuff that you know I saw on the bottom. Thank y'all for being there. Until next time. Next month. Okay. So I think for next month, you know what? I'm not gonna say that because I don't know. I have to check. But I believe that next month we are going to have Intricate Dialect, who is a phenomenal artist, a phenomenal MC, and I'm very, 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 very proud to have him on the show. Enjoy your Juneteenth. Sip it up, drink it up, pour it up, but just make sure that you honor your ancestors and that you honor Black culture for what it is, because we are the reason why a lot of shit is what it is now.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Hit him with it.
Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory unfaded is won. I'm faded for you.
And on that note, yeah. I love y'all. You already know. Fuck you. I love you. Sorry, y'all. I love you. You already know. I will see you next month. We off the mic, baby. Be safe. Happy Juneteenth. Are we done? Wait, am I still on?